It started as a casual Friday evening. I had just returned home from work, tired and eager to unwind, when my wife Sarah called me into the living room. She had a look on her face I couldn't quite read, half excitement, half mischief. "Sit down," she said, gesturing to the couch. I complied, curious but wary. "We need to discuss some new rules." I raised an eyebrow, trying to keep my voice calm. "New rules for me?" Sarah nodded, smiling faintly. "Yes. From now on, certain things need to change. It's about balance and expectations. You'll see." Before I could respond, her friends, who were visiting for a casual gathering, giggled from the dining area. I felt a twinge of irritation, not because they laughed, but because they had already taken sides without knowing what the rules even were. Sarah cleared her throat. "Rule 1. No more leaving your laundry around the house. Rule 2. I expect your full attention when I'm talking to you. No distractions." She paused, as if expecting applause. "Rule 3. We will have designated times for chores, dates, and personal projects, all coordinated through a shared calendar." I blinked, trying to process the sudden shift in authority. Her friends laughed again. One of them whispered something I couldn't catch. I felt the weight of the room pressing in, the implicit judgment buzzing like static in my ears. I took a slow breath, steadying myself. "Sarah," I said, voice firm but measured, "I respect structure. I respect compromise. But I don't respect being dictated to, especially in front of guests. If we're going to make rules, they have to be mutual, shared, not imposed." Her smile faltered slightly, replaced by a flicker of surprise. I continued. "And if you want me to participate fully in this household, it's not about a list of rules you create for me. It's about partnership, understanding, and respect. Without that, no calendar, no chore chart, no schedule will ever work." The room went quiet. Her friends, who had been laughing moments ago, now glanced at each other uncomfortably. I could see Sarah wrestling with her initial reaction, a mix of irritation and realization crossing her face. I stood up, setting my cup down with deliberate calm. "I'm happy to talk, to compromise, to coordinate. But this," I gestured to the list, "this isn't how a partnership works. Not with me." Sarah swallowed, the color in her cheeks deepening. You really mean that?" "I do," I said simply, letting my words settle. "We either work together or we don't work at all. But I won't be treated like a subordinate in my own home." After that moment, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Sarah's friends exchanged awkward glances. The earlier laughter was replaced with a tense quiet. I could sense the unspoken thoughts, some probably questioning my reaction, others silently approving my stance. Either way, the dynamic had changed, and I wasn't about to let it slip back into imbalance. Sarah stood, crossing her arms. "I thought you'd find this amusing," she said, voice tight but controlled. "I didn't expect you to take it seriously." I shook my head slowly. "It's not a joke, Sarah. Rules in a marriage aren't meant to be imposed unilaterally, especially not as if I'm supposed to comply without discussion. I have my own responsibilities, my own needs, and my own boundaries. And when those are disregarded, it's not funny. It's disrespectful." Her friends murmured. One of them whispered, "Wow, he's standing up for himself." I caught the comment, and it didn't bother me. In fact, it reinforced why I had chosen to speak up. Respect wasn't optional, and I wasn't going to compromise my dignity for appearances. Sarah's posture shifted, a subtle tension in her shoulders. "Okay, maybe I went too far," she admitted, her voice softer now. "I just wanted to create structure, make things more organized. I didn't think it would feel like an attack." I nodded, letting a moment of calm settle between us. "I understand the intent, and I'm willing to collaborate," I said. "But collaboration means we make decisions together. It's not about who enforces the rules. It's about mutual agreement, respect, and compromise. That's the foundation of any partnership." Her expression softened further, and I could see the flicker of realization. I didn't think of it that way," she whispered. I smiled slightly, not triumphantly, but with quiet reassurance. "That's okay. We'll learn together. But I need you to know, I won't accept being undermined. Not in front of friends, not at home, not ever." The evening continued differently after that. The laughter returned, but this time it wasn't at my expense or under the weight of imposed rules. It was genuine, shared, and lighter. Sarah and I engaged in conversation, negotiating schedules, chores, and commitments, but now with a sense of equality and mutual understanding. By the time her friends left, the air in our house on Maple Ridge Drive in Raleigh felt clear. The tension had dissolved. I realized that asserting boundaries wasn't about conflict. It was about respect, clarity, and ensuring that both partners feel valued in their shared space. The next morning, I woke up with a sense of calm that had been missing for weeks. The previous night had been a test, not of our relationship, but of how far I was willing to let disrespect go. Sarah was in the kitchen making coffee, and for the first time in a long while, there was a sense of shared purpose in the way we moved around each other. "Good morning," she said, her tone softer, almost hesitant. I nodded, returning the greeting with a quiet smile. I poured my own coffee and sat down, taking a moment to observe her. There was no pretense this time, no underlying tension. We had confronted the issue directly, and the aftermath was a subtle yet powerful reminder that boundaries, once set and respected, transform a relationship. Later that day, we sat together with our shared calendar, outlining chores, dates, and work commitments. The conversation flowed differently now, less like a negotiation imposed by one side and more like a discussion between equals. Each item on the list was reviewed, questioned, and agreed upon mutually. The simple act of collaboration had shifted the energy entirely. By evening, I realized that the small victory from the night before had ripple effects. Sarah's friends, who had been present during the confrontation, now treated me with subtle respect, acknowledging the man who had stood his ground calmly and firmly. Their laughter was lighter, genuine, and no longer tinged with judgment or mockery. When Sarah and I finally sat down to relax, she reached over and gently touched my arm. "Thank you for last night," she said softly. "I see things differently now. I understand how it felt." I nodded, letting her words sink in. "It's not about punishment, Sarah. It's about partnership, about understanding that we both matter equally and that our choices affect each other. That's what respect looks like." She smiled, a real, unforced smile that warmed the room. I realized then that the night had been necessary, not for drama or confrontation, but to realign our priorities, our expectations, and our mutual respect. Later, as I prepared for bed, I reflected on the lesson. Standing up for yourself isn't arrogance, and asserting boundaries isn't conflict. It's the foundation of a relationship that lasts. It's about ensuring that both partners feel valued, seen, and respected. And as I lay down, I felt a quiet satisfaction knowing that the steps I took had not only preserved my dignity, but strengthened the bond we had, creating a clearer, more balanced partnership moving forward.